Hello and welcome to how I play my level 60 mage. So we got two mages though, but we'll talk about them both. They do the exact same thing. So we're gonna talk about spells. We'll talk about some of the hot buttons we got going on down here. We'll talk about gear. I actually have some elaborate gear, Defiant stuff to compare. We can take a look at that, and then yeah, that's about it. So let's get started. First up, we are going to talk about spells. So right now I am using Seeking Flame Succor. So this is a 1600 damage nuke. The only alternative to this would be Shock of Fiery Blades. Now, take a look at that one real quick here. You can see this one, it's 1200 damage. It's conjuration based. This is evocation based. So this would be more akin to the magic based line of spells. It's just fire resist versus that. So if you specialized in conjuration, this would be better for you. But I went evocation, so this is the one we're going with here. So let's reload that in there. And like we have at 60, right? We have AAs now. We have critical chance to land nukes. So let's kind of see what this is doing here. Now this is a big nuke, right? 1600 damage in one pop. I do have sometimes a little bit of struggle getting aggro, but not too bad. Now, so without a crit, it's doing 1900 at the moment. Let's do another one here. And if we look at my mana bar, I'm not even like losing mana. It's like 3% of my mana. 100 there. These aren't crits, I don't believe, because it says critical when you get a crit. 2200. Oh, just the damage keeps going up. Let's see here. What do we got? 1900. So it's between, let's say, 1900, 2200. I can't imagine it going much higher than that. 1800. So it goes down a little bit there. It's a good spell. I like it a lot. When you see it hit a mob and their health just drops down to like half, and then you realize you have two mages and you pretty much kill it in two nukes. It's a 5.5 cast time, but it's, not too bad there. These like criticals, and it's just like not, my UI just doesn't show. I don't know. Spells. Yeah, those aren't critical, but it's a nice spell. It's a nice spell. I'm sure we'll get more damage out of it as we get more focuses and stuff like that. But that's my primary bread and butter spell. Now I want to use rains. I keep them all set up and ready to go. But until we get an AoE taunt, it's not practical because the mages will be smashed. But at 60, we have two rain spells. Sirocco doing 630 and Maelstrom of Electricity doing 675. I'm ready to just drop those back in our multi-bind when we're ready. We also have Winds of the Desert, which is a point-blank AoE that does 1,000 up to 30 mobs. So if I'm ever in a situation where I need to eliminate some mobs really quick, there we go, 30 mobs. So that's 1,000. So when we start farming Howling Stone for some epic pieces, City of Mist for some epic pieces, we will definitely switch back into Rains and the point blank AoEs, and we'll just eliminate pretty much every mob in AoE fashion as fast as we can. So they're there. We're just not using them actively at the moment. Next up, I have Aegis of Ro. So this is our group damage shield. It just hits everybody in the group. Damage shield, I think it's like 45 points or so. Pretty good. Burnout 4 is our current burnout spell. Definitely want to have this on the pet at all times. And it just increases haste and all the other stuff that goes with that. Greater what is that? Vorcation? water. So this is the pet I use. It's a level 60 pet. It is enhanced by the current focus item from the tower, so Minions of Darkness. So it is even stronger than you would possibly imagine with this guy. Here, let's bring him from behind here and send him in. So he's hitting for what, 73, backstab for 148, 73, 73. Like, it's just spamming 73s pretty much. 52s, 237 backstab. I don't see anything higher than 73 at the moment. 237 backstab. But you can see like how fast he's attacking now. He's doing a good damage. He has no inventory, I don't believe. He should have no weapons. Yeah, he has nothing on him, so he's dead. And he also procs a 145 DD. So this is the pet to go with, I believe. The air pet is good. I used that one for a little while when I was trying to level the rest of these guys up to 60. But I just felt like this was the best. Now it requires positioning, so a little part on my part for the tank to make sure I position these correctly. But all in all, the best pet we can get right now. If we had the epic, now the epic would be the best, but I don't plan on finishing the epic for the mages until it's not even worth having. I just want the little illusion here for Nomergard, the ornamentation, that is. Next up, I have Call Hero. So we have Call Hero via spell, and then I have Call Hero via AA. So that's just like I have. We don't have group Call Hero yet until like 100. So getting Call Heroing everybody to a spot can take a little bit of time, right? There's like it's like a 10-second cast with a 10-second reuse or something like that, 12 seconds. So being able to use both the spell and the AA speed that up a lot, especially on 2 mages, right? So keep that in mind. And then I have Elemental Draw, which is a mana regeneration buff from level 54. Takes a little bit of health out of the pet, like what was that, like a fourth, a third, and gives me a mana regeneration buff for 9 minutes. So it's worth it keeping up at all times. Now, other than that, I also do the Aura, Earth and Strength. Make sure that's on your pets at all times, and that increases the damage of your pet and all the pets near him. So that is, it affects all these, like even this dumb little Shadow Knight pet right here. Boom, he's doing more damage because of that. So keep that in mind when you're placing these out. But let's see, that's all the spells. These aren't, a lot of this UI is not active yet because it's copied from my 125 Mage. Let's see here, my hotbars have not changed for the most part. I did add Companion of Necessity into my multi-bind. This is a interesting spell. It summons a level 76 mob to distract your target for 15 seconds. So it just throws a mob out there and it does an area taunt. So it's kind of like relieves some pressure off the tank. It'll auto AoE taunt anything that's there. I don't know the effectiveness of this yet. I used it like twice before everybody got 60 and I kind of just left it there. We'll see as we go to 61 and all the way to 65 how that works, but I do have it in there on my level 125 Mage in the multi-bind. It's just random, more pets out there is my philosophy. And then I have Turn Summon in here. So Turn Summon only works on summon mobs, so like elementals and stuff like that. There's not many of those, but there's no loss for me having it here. It'll only activate on targets that are the specific summoned target. So it does an insane amount of damage when it does. It's what, 1200 damage, the chance to trigger a 32,000 damage. It's crazy. There's an undead one for paladins and stuff like that. It's just insane, but I keep it there and use it on cooldown just in case. My teleport bar is the same. My short duration buff is the same. It's literally, here, let's click it. So Aegis of Row, so get the AoE buff out there, and then Elemental Draw. As soon as that casts, and wham bam, come on. You can do it. Guess maybe the timing's messed up because of the new spell, but let's do 66 or 65. Let's try that again. Aegis of Row. And then it should do Elemental Draw. The timings get messed up, and it's like, yeah, it fizzled. But it's pretty much the gist of that. Everything here is pretty much the exact same. I do not have the familiar on. Oh yeah, I can do this. There we go. Haha, now he's a cool looking pet. I love these pet illusion things. They're so cool. Let's see here. That's about it for those that. So let's talk about gear. Now, F60, right? The best Defiant gear you can get is elaborate. But we're also in this era of the tower missions, and we can do gear from there. So here you go. You can compare the level 55 tower item versus an elaborate hood. So it outclasses the elaborate stuff. I mean the tower stuff. Now the 65 stuff might not, right? Because this is good. This goes all the way to 70. So the 65 tower stuff might be better, but the 55 stuff is not. The 55 stuff does not have the focus effect here. Reduce the mana cost of detrimental spells. What? All the way up to 75? Thank you very much. I will take that. That is so much better than the 1 mana regen that I would get out of this. So something to keep in mind as you you're leveling on live and stuff like that. These items that come from the tower, they're nice. They're nice and classic. They're nice in Kunark. They're nice in Velius. But after Lucklin, when focus effects start getting in, if it doesn't have a focus effect, and I was looking on EQ Resource at their list of all the items, I didn't see any focus effects on any of this stuff until the 70s. So I could be wrong there, but there could be some focus effects, and it just like I couldn't see them on the items I was looking at. But this AUG is strong, but it's not that strong. So keep that in mind when you're gearing up. I've been switching my gear to the flawed and better Defiant, like intricate and whatever else. So as I find pieces of that, I do upgrade to it and replace what I can. Now, this is good twink gear. Like this is on Throne of Eye. I can throw all this on a character, and at level 55, boom, he's got some nice gear. But it's just one of those things, keep in mind as you're leveling. So let's see here. That is like all of that. Let's talk about AAs a little bit. So auto grant is enabled. We get whatever AAs it gives us. We have 485 now. Let's see what we can activate out of all these AAs. I know there is one, at least important one, that we have. I haven't put on my bar yet. Well, I put it on my bar right here. It's Elemental Form. That's the most important one. We'll talk about that one here in just a moment. So we have lowered threat on spells, call a hero, and that's about it. So let's talk about Elemental Form. That's the big one. We get this at 59. This is kind of the big mage one, right? So we get some other ones later on that are good, but this is it. So this turns us into an elemental. You can see here I am a water elemental. My other mage was a fire elemental, but I had to camp her out. Let's click it again, see what she gets. She gets a fire elemental. So, I think it's random, but I don't know. I truly don't. It might be based on race and, gender or something like that. But this is a great spell. Increases all your stats by 30. Increases your resist by 25. Increases the casting level of your spells by 5. Grants a 30-point damage shield. Increases your mana regen by 4. Increases your maximum health by 200. It's a great spell. It gets upgraded all the way up to 125 as you go. You can see right now I'm at 211 mana regen, 317 HP regen, but that's with Paragon of Spirit on. If I click that off right now, I go down to 131 and 117 respectively. For reference, Torpor does 300 HP per tick. I'm doing a third of that just from my passive regen from all my spells and all my stuff. So, like, he's doing pretty well. Like, as we get higher and higher, it's important that we have the highest mana regen that we can possibly get, so that we have less downtime and we can just keep going and going and going. But Elemental Form is a great spell. I don't think I have anything else down here that is of any other use at this point. I use the Water Pet, as I said. It seems to be the best. It's the highest one we have right now. I'll probably keep using it until I get the next Water Pet. Like, unless this one dies, and then I'll switch to whatever the highest pet I have is at the time as we go from 61 to 65. But Water Pet is probably the best. Now, if we take a look at some of the other stuff, now I'm glossing over a lot of stuff, and someone's going to make a comment about that, right? So we do have mod rods, mass mystical transvergence here, right? And this is an AoE mod rod, right? It'll hit everybody if I stand right here. Boom, boom. Everybody twitched. Everybody got a mod rod on their hand. This is pretty good. Give us 360 mana for 450. So that's, it would be worth probably putting there. I don't know. I'm not going to do it until I get my AA. Like, that's how lazy I am. It's just, I'd rather have it as an AA so I don't have to worry about the spell. Other things of note here that, like, I know about, like, there's the Muzzle of Mardu. I just haven't summoned it, right? It's this is a haste item for the pet. Definitely, you should give it to your pet, right? Here's my pet. There we go. There you go. Good boy. Now, you should give it to all the pets, in all honesty, right? I don't even know whose pet that was. I guess it was the other mage, right? If we go back here, he's now wearing that. We should also give it to the shaman pets too. Everybody should get one of these. It just depends on if you want to go through the effort of doing that, right? This is not an item that'll lower DPS. Here, let's click another one here real quick so we can actually see the stats. It's 11% haste, not too bad, but it's, the pet can use it. Let's give one to the Shadow Knight pet, why not? And there you go. So everybody's got one now, so, something like that. They keep it until they die, so it's pretty good. Other items of interest, let's see here. Now you can summon armor, right? But this is not the summoned armor that I would think is like the thing. Like, later on, the mages will automatically summon their pets with armor, but it's just not worth doing right now. Let's see here, the mod rods, and then weapons, pouch. None of this stuff is there. Eventually, we'll get some other summon things that we can do, but none of this is like I'm probably literally gonna level from 61 or from 60 with 1 kill in to 65 in one video. It's gonna be like an hour, 2-hour video, and it's just gonna go, right? I feel like it's gonna go so fast that me setting up anything like that is just not even gonna be worth my time to do. But this is kind of the setup I got going on right now. I don't think I need anything else at this point. Between this nuke and between this pet, it's just like I am doing a significant amount of damage, right? This is, and I can chain this nuke back to back, right? Like, it's just like boom, boom, and then boom. And it's got a little bit of delay before it hits. Maybe that one actually got resisted. Yep, that one got resisted. But on, like, when I was in Chardock, the mobs were just like dropping down significantly once I got this spell. So it is definitely a very nice spell to have. And then if it ever crits, I only have like a 10% chance to crit right now. So if it ever crits, it'll do, like double whatever it does, right? It'll do like 4,000 or something like that. Yeah. Well, we'll have to watch out for those crits later on when we actually play the series, but You can see it's just an insane amount of damage. It's like way more than one hit of my Shadow Knight, so it's definitely worth having going there. But that's how I play my mage. I have a second mage, Tawani, exact same setup, exact same skills, spells, everything. The UI is literally practically the same. I just do one thing on one, switch to the other one, and update it. So everything I do with one mage, it's doubled. So it works out pretty well for my group. But you know, if you want to see it in action, you can watch the Hobbs and Friends series, where I go through and I actually play these characters in a 6-box configuration throughout the leveling, and we're currently at level 60, and we're going to be working towards 65 after this. But thank you very much for watching, and please have a fantastic day.